Hey, so if there are two things that I love, it is Pokemon and FNaF, as you can see from my ridiculous bedroom. Office thing. Um, I have never gotten the chance to play FNaF AR because I only somewhat recently-ish made the jump to having a smartphone, only to find that lo and behold, they're shutting down their servers on like the 14th. So I figured I should jump in now while I'm able to, and see how it goes. I apologize for not recording the game intro thingy. I didn't realize that it was going to start doing like a little video intro thingy immediately upon opening the game. The other question is going to be if it is going to actually load on my phone, because it's been stuck at 69% giggity for like a good while. So I suppose while I'm waiting for that to load, I should go ahead and say I'm aware. I have watched... Oh, it suddenly made a jump. I have watched other people play this game. I'm aware that it works best with headphones. However, I'm going to be indignant and insufferable and insist on playing it without headphones for the sheer fact that I'm going to try to play it in the way that you would typically play a mobile game. I am under the quite thorough belief that the reason that FNaF AR is dying is because it doesn't work very well as a mobile game. I should probably move this slightly farther from the desk. That way I can actually spin in it. Yeah, because that's going to be necessary. So, the problem is that this game does not play very well as a mobile game. And by that I mean you need to play it in a location in which you are able to not only swivel back and forth and be able to go all the way around you, etc., etc. You also need to have the headphones. You also need to have quite a bit amount of time from what I've seen. And all of the purchases within the game are kind of ridiculously expensive for what they are. Even with their "we're dying soon, here's 50% off literally everything last hurrah." The game itself is free to download and microtransactions are expected of a mobile game. Now it's stuck at 88%. This is kind of what I was concerned about. I've seen a lot of people that also say one of the other biggest problems is that it's not very well optimized. It doesn't play very well even on newer phones. And by that I mean, this is a Google Pixel 6. Not sponsored, not affiliated. But it's a new-ish phone. It's, I guess, technically 2 generations behind now, but compared to when this game came out, it is a new phone. And it's been stuck at 88% this whole time. Well, not this whole time. Previously, it was stuck at 69%. It doesn't work exceptionally well on devices. And going back to the previous statement of things being ridiculously expensive, which, speaking of, even if the game doesn't load and it decides it's not working on my phone, I'm still going to upload this as a video essay. A final goodbye, I suppose. To a game I never got to play, and I'm sad about not getting to play. So much of this game that should just be free is locked behind a paywall. Like, I get the DLC being behind a paywall. What I don't understand is why the DLC is locked behind if I recall correctly, it's like $30 paywall. For that $30, you could buy all of the first FNaF games. For that $40, you could also just buy Security Breach and get Ruin for free. Or at least it would pay for most of Security Breach. Instead, you would be buying it seems pretty short based off of what I've seen, DLC that uses characters that already existed, doesn't give you new characters. It essentially just gives you a new background to play in instead of using your own room. And I think it gives you, like, some, like, skins in case you missed the skins that are used in the thing. And, like, it might give you Golden Freddy. I don't remember that one for certain. I do remember that he's, like, a part of it. And the other problem that I have with this is that instead of shutting down the servers, they could have just put everything free. Like, instead of saying, hey, we're not... And, like, I get the problem with that would be that they would still have to maintain the servers. But, like, what you could have done is, if you know you're going to shut down anyway, for, like, the last month that you're going to be operating, you could just make everything free. You know, instead of continuing to still try to get money out of people by only cutting it down 50%. I think the problem with Special Delivery is that it doesn't act as a mobile game. I'm still waiting for it to load, by the way. There. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to have this part of the screen capture up, but there it is. Still loading. The problem is we've seen this coming for a while now, right? They had 2 fully finished characters. They decided to not bother actually implementing, I know at least they had 1 fully finished character, because I know they at least had Lefty. I think they had another one, too, that was, like, mostly finished. They stopped putting out skins ages ago, and skins are easy. Like, I'm not saying that the skins are bad. I actually seem to be in one of the minorities that fully enjoys FNaF skins. I think it's kind of funny and hilarious, because every time I see them, everyone else that's complaining about, well, why would they put this character in this ridiculous outfit? And I just kind of gesture vaguely at Disney, who consistently puts their mascots in fun outfits, ridiculous outfits, for each different holiday or whatever. Like, to me, it makes complete sense. You have mascots, different things come around, you put the mascots in the costumes to represent each of the different things. Now you have a reason that people would want to continue going back to the restaurant. And that's, I think, the bit that a lot of people miss. Because, like, they forget, wait, this is supposed to actually be, like, a restaurant. It's not just... to me, it's not just laziness that they are doing that. It actually makes complete sense to me. But I think the reason that it died is that they tried too hard to make the FNaF mobile game like the FNaF desktop game. And while that is admirable in some ways, it doesn't translate well. And you can tell that because literally anyone who has played the FNaF desktop games versus the mobile games will tell you that the mobile games are the worst port. And that's coming from someone, who has exclusively played the mobile versions of 1 through 4 because I didn't used to have a decent PC in order to run the games before. That's going to certainly be changing, as now I have a better excuse to play the games. Still sitting at 88%. Sad. But, like, they even put the photo taking thing behind a paywall. You know, and that's like the coolest feature of this game, right? You can take any of the animatronics that you own and you can put them in your room and take pictures of them or pose other people with them like they're actually there. And they put that behind a paywall. And that seems redundant to me. So, I don't know. Whether or not this game decides to load is going to determine which channel this ends up on. I'm just going to go ahead and pause the recording on that screen. Then, you know, I might put the game recording off somewhere else if I don't end up actually getting to play the game. Because I've had this thing trying to load since I started this video. So it's been like 12 minutes already. Actually, it's been longer than that because I tried to start the video slightly earlier than that and then I forgot to hit record. But I think my other problem with FNaF Special Delivery being deleted is that it does hold a significant amount of lore, right? So, and again, I feel like some people are going to come at me, well, you've never played the game, so you wouldn't. And, like, I get that. I get that. And I understand that I don't really have a massive amount of speaking, I guess, that I am able to do on the subject in terms of first-hand experience. But I do know, because I've gone through and read through all of them, or at least like 90% of them, that there is a lot of lore hidden in the emails of this game. And now you're just not going to be able to access it anymore. Unless you, like, go back and find screenshots of it and whatever. So that's kind of sad too. I feel like they could have, I guess, done better. I don't know how to explain that. And the worst part is this is the kind of mobile game that would quite easily could become a PC game, right? So they could have just taken all of the bits and pieces that they made for this game. Because all of the models and stuff for this are custom made, you can tell, because they have different textures and such. You could have taken all of the bits and pieces that you made for this game and just moved them to a stationary game. And I feel like, and you wouldn't have the AR portion, obviously, but what you do with that is you just make the background like a bedroom, or like a home office, or a living room, wherever it is that you want to make the background. Hell, if you want to include microtransactions, that would be a really easy way to do it, because you can just be like, hey, you can either unlock this new location you're playing in, or you can pay this X amount for it. And for frick's sake, if you're going to do microtransactions, make them actually micro. Under no circumstances should you be spending the amount for a full game on a DLC, which, at least according to most of the playthroughs that I've seen, only takes like a couple hours to beat. Just no. So, I have a feeling that this is going to be another case of FNaF lore that is just going to be vanished within the cosmos, because there's a strangely large amount of lore that if you weren't there while it was happening, you don't have anything to show you that it happened. Like all of the stuff that happened with Scott's Games. Scott's Games, that website had like a lot of lore that would just be hidden in the parts of the website, and the only way that you got to see it was to find it. You had to find it. That's how we know, for instance, that Ennard and Baby split, and how we have that context. And how we know why they split. They split because they couldn't see eye to eye. They kept butting heads. They kept having those problems. And you see that because there was a part of the script in the Scott's Games website that went through that. And for a while, he even had a secondary website that was set up almost identically. And sometimes the two websites would just be bantering back and forth. And you had to check both of them. Sometimes you had to check both of them daily because they would just change. And that bit of FNaF lore is now just gone forever. I mean, I guess it's not technically gone forever because there's like screenshots and everything for proof. But you can't experience it firsthand anymore. And I think that's what my problem with this game is. They made it so... I don't want to say inaccessible, but they made parts of it so difficult to get into because of the long loading screens, because of XYZ, because you can't play it as a mobile game even though it's a mobile game. You have to be stationary, you have to be sitting there, you have to have headphones, for example, which again I told you I'm not using because I want to experience it first as a mobile game. And because they made it so difficult to use it as a mobile game, and they made it so you can't change at least as far as I've seen, you can't change the graphical settings so it will work better on your device. Which means you have to have a ridiculously high-end phone or whatever in order to even play it. Again, Google Pixel 6, we're still sitting at 88%. It's still not loading. And compared to this game, this phone is newer than this game. And it won't load. And that's sad, because I wanted to experience the game at least a little bit firsthand. But because it won't let you adjust anything, you can't play it. And this has just become like a 20-minute video essay of me trying to play a game that won't let me play. And that's sad. So I guess I'll get back to you if the game ever decides to load. And if there is no more of this video, that means the game decided not to load. And that also means I probably sadly deleted it from my phone. And that also means that probably tomorrow there will be a separate video of me at least attempting to go through all of the FNaF AR. Or at least some of the FNaF AR lore. That way I can experience it one more time before it dies. Alright. Toodaloo.